Welcome to the Cortellucci Vaughan Hospital and the Giovanni de Gasperis and Eugene Cohn Learning Center. It's an amazing day. We have waited so long to actually celebrate. We've been through a lot as an organization, a lot as a community, and a lot as a province, and we're finally here really celebrating something that is quite remarkable. So thank you for joining us today as we mark 1 year since Mackenzie Health became 2 hospitals. MPP Lecce, MPP Tibollo, I think MPP Way's here as well, Mayor Bevilacqua, Mayor West, councillors, donors, members of the project consortium, vendors, and other partners. Oh, there you are, Daisy. Thank you for joining us. We're here to celebrate a very, very special moment for Mackenzie Health. And obviously to the members of the Mackenzie Health family, some here in person today and others watching the celebration online. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Cortellucci Vaughan Hospital opened as a full-service hospital for the community on June the 6th, 2021. If you can remember, that was a very hot Sunday. I know, Stephen, you were there, Michael, you were there, Mary, you were there. A very, very remarkable day and just a very special moment for this community. And that opening was thanks to so many people coming together to make it possible. But unfortunately, at the time, we weren't able to recognize their efforts with a proper celebration. And really, that's why we're here today. That opening day came after we'd already spent 4 months supporting the provincial pandemic response by caring exclusively for COVID-19 patients. And I know for our organization and for the province, that was just such a challenging period, but we did come together, Team Ontario, and the efforts of everybody in this community to really shift and change the mandate of this hospital for a short period of time, but a very critical period of time. I do not believe that we would be here in the state we are without our support. We provided relief for overwhelmed hospitals across the GTA, caring for more than 500 patients from other hospitals in the GTA. And I do believe that we saved the system from collapse. And then when we opened our second hospital last year, it couldn't have happened at a better time. Mackenzie Richmond Hill Hospital, as you know, was consistently operating over capacity. And we had one of the busiest emergency departments in the entire province. The city of Vaughan was the largest city in the whole country without its own hospital. And our part of York Region was already growing at a rapid pace. We were also coming out of the most challenging wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it seemed like that would be the most challenging wave, but then we had a few more challenging waves. But that was by far the most significant experience to that point in time. So when we opened our second hospital, we doubled access to care for the communities of King, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and beyond. And since opening our second hospital, we've been pretty busy. We've already had a tremendous impact. We've delivered more than 3,100 babies to date, supported patients with more than 170,000 emergency visits. And in fact, within months of the second emergency department opening, we exceeded our projected volumes for both hospitals. We consistently see over 600 patients a day across both emergency departments. That's an unbelievable volume. We've conducted more than 34,000 operations, supported more than 15,000 mental health patients through outpatient visits, cared for over 4,700 pediatric patients at our pediatric urgent clinic. And we've conducted hundreds of thousands of diagnostic tests, such as MRIs and CTs. And you can imagine with the backlog with the pandemic, this has been a very, very needed resource to deal with some of the delayed testing and procedures. So while these last few years have been challenging for all of us, we've also had the ability to share some very incredible moments together. And the theme for today's celebration is that we are one. Today we're celebrating our first birthday since becoming a 2-hospital system, but we're also one Mackenzie Health family. And it really is family. Our staff, physicians, volunteers have demonstrated just a tremendous resilience time and time again, both in opening this amazing facility, but also getting through the numerous waves of the pandemic. It's their willingness to work together, to support each other, that really got us through these very challenging periods. They took on extra shifts. They worked overtime. They were deployed to other units that they never worked on before. And they really did what had to be done in the moment. They developed and tested new workflows, trained new hires, set up and deployed new technologies and equipment, and learned how to work in a brand new environment as we opened our second hospital. I know our team has experienced many remarkable moments this past year since we became 2 hospitals. But for me, this past year has represented the culmination of the work of just so many people. It takes a village, as it says, to build something this remarkable, and there are fingerprints of everybody in this community on this amazing facility. Our municipal and regional partners who provided the land and made significant financial contributions, thank you for your advocacy and support over this decade-long journey. Our provincial partners who approved the project, provided the funding for it, and most importantly, were constantly in our corner as the pandemic brought on unthinkable challenges. I can remember numerous calls with Stephen and Michael and many of you, in these very challenging times, saying, how are we going to do this? What can we do for you? And you stepped up every minute of every day. Our board of directors, who guided us through this process, ensured we were set up for success from the very beginning. Our foundation and all of our donors who contributed towards the ultimate campaign, raising funds for the local share of this project. Your generosity continues to inspire the community to continue to give, and for that we are so thankful. Our staff, physicians, and volunteers, thank you for your dedication, your hard work, your resilience as we work to open a second hospital in the midst of the pandemic. There were moments as we were working through the construction where we were signing letters every single day to get trays across the border. We turned the hospital upside down to ensure that the work environment was safe for many of the trades so that they could continue to work. So it's no small feat that we delivered this project on time and on budget and are here today. And finally, I want to thank our community. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your continued support. We're here for you and because of you. And we're committed to providing you with the care you need and deserve, right here, close to home, at our 2 hospitals and our network of community-based locations. So now I'd like to turn over the podium to MPP Lecce to say a few words. Stephen?
Well, good morning. It's wonderful to be with you all today. I want to first off recognize that a year ago, Michael Tibollo, Daisy Way, Michael Parsa, and the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, stood together to open this exceptional hospital. That it has been 1 year of achievement, and we are so blessed to have this. It was truly a lifeline at a difficult time and a moment in our province, in our country. And it speaks to the character and the spirit of the city, that yes, we are one. We came together when we needed to, working across party lines to deliver the services families in this community rightfully deserved. And I was very proud to work with Michael, Daisy, and so many others in the city and beyond to help get this done in partnership with an amazing community. I want to spend just a minute to look forward because yes, looking back retrospectively, we had a great level of achievement and hard work. My grandmother, affectionately known as Nonna Lecce, was a patient here at Cortellucci Vaughan Hospital for 5 weeks, and at what point Altaf said to me, why are you always here? Visiting my grandma. But I could tell you from first experience, just from a few months ago, the staff, the nurses, the PSWs, the doctors, were exceptional and provided a great level of compassion to my grandmother when she needed it. And so I want to just personalize that gratitude because you speak about thousands of babies, thousands of ER visits, patients. These are people, these are our family, and you've made a great difference in the lives of so many in Vaughan and beyond. So we thank you for that. And since the opening, there's been great momentum. It was awesome to hear the mayor's announcement to complete the ultimate campaign. $250 million is not too shabby, so thank you on your incredible achievement. And to the donors who are with us today, I see some of them who are with us. Thank you for your gratitude to the Gaspers family and so many others. Thank you for giving so much of yourselves to build this city. And also the fact that we stood together to announce a new long-term care site that will be built on this land that will help build the momentum that we're welcoming and I think embracing today. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for your tremendous hard work. Thank you to the community partners and the donors, and particularly to the frontline staff who really went above and beyond to the call of duty during the pandemic. I'm now very honored to introduce the next member of Provincial Parliament for the riding of Vaughan Woodbridge and the Associate Minister for Mental Health, Michael Tibollo. Thank you all.
Thank you, Stephen, and good morning, everyone. It is truly a pleasure for me to be here this morning with Stephen, Daisy. We've been here many times for various ceremonies. One in particular was the topping off ceremony that I was reminded was in October of 2018. And I managed to keep one of the coins that were part of the metal that was put into that final structure. I hope and I pray to God that taking one away won't have any kind of structural significance on the building itself. But I kept this as a reminder of how important it is when communities come together, when construction, when individuals that are serving individuals through the work that they do in the hospital, how important it is that the community comes together and builds something. And this is a labor of love. I mean, you can walk through this building, it's beautifully appointed, and staggering results in terms of how much already has gone on here just demonstrates the desperate need of having facilities like this to look after the people of our cities. So I'm really proud to be here. I'm ecstatic that we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary, the achievement. Thank you to all the donors, as was mentioned by Minister Lecce, and to all of you. Most of council is here, so if you have to have a meeting and maybe, if there's any money to top anything up, you've got your council here. So it's great to see everyone and of course to participate in this event. And Altaf, I'd like to give you something if you want to come up. When I became the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, one of the things that I always reminded everyone of is that when you talk about health, you can't not talk about mental health, because you can have a person that's physically healthy but not mentally healthy, and the two of them go together. And I think the mental health component is the most important. So back in the day when I was a Solicitor General, I wasn't there long enough to make a challenge coin, but I had one made. And for those of you that don't know what this is, they typically are used in the military when someone in service goes into a bar or goes into, a bar, they have to show their challenge coin. And if they don't, they have to buy the other person a drink. And that tradition carries to all our police services, our fire services, our paramedics. And so I thought, because of the work that I was doing with mental health and how it touches on all those different areas, I had a challenge coin made for the Ministry of Health and Mental Health and Addictions. And on it, in Latin, it basically says, there is no health without mental health. And I'd like to present it to you today in exchange for the having taken one of your coins out of the structure, so that I can sort of feel a little better about it. But that's for you. And with that, I'd now like to turn it over to our mayor. And I have to just say a couple of words. It came with shock that you were going to be ending and not renewing or seeking re-election as the mayor of the city of Vaughan. You've done tremendous work in the years, not just as mayor, but as a politician federally as well. Your heart and your passion has been in the city, and I want to say thank you on behalf of myself and all the people, I think, in the province of Ontario that know of your great work. Thank you for your dedication and your continued passion in helping people that don't always have a voice and don't always have the ability to speak for themselves. And with that, your worship, our mayor, Maurizio Bevilacqua. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. My speeches are usually long, and they're going to be longer now because everybody's going to be very respectful to me for the next 5.5 months. So I just wanted to say, Altaf, I had a challenge for you 10 years ago. I just told them build a hospital, and you got it done. Thank you so much. You've been a great partner. I learned a lot during this process. This process of building a hospital here in the city was very challenging. I mean, we had a community didn't have a hospital. We had a population of over 200,000. People had to come together, and we had all sorts of challenges along the way. The only thing I really knew that we all shared in a common vision that we wanted our hospital. And I think that when your goal is a good one, when you're motivated by what is good in humanity, great things can in fact be achieved. And let me take this opportunity to congratulate you. Just came out of an election, And election night was very interesting this year, amazing result, and a confirmation for the Conservative Party to once again lead us for the next 4 years. And so congratulations to you as well, all of you. And there are challenges ahead. The last announcement I think we made was on long-term care, if I'm not mistaken, just down there. Yeah, right down there. And with Paul Calandra, who was present. And what that is a constant reminder of is that although for the longest time we used the hospital first belief, that's what we were focused on. I said, let's get the hospital built first and then let's talk about other things. But you know, it's funny, we moved right along very quickly with long-term healthcare beds that we need here. And Michael, I think that was the second one. It was 256 and 256 on both sites. There's one in Woodbridge as well. The point I'm making here is that city building continues. We get these goals, we reach, and we always have to have something to look forward to and focus our attention on. And this community has that great capacity. It has great capacity to really focus on what's important. I see a lot of my colleagues here. I see Marilyn Iafredi. I thought I saw the Deputy Mayor. Alan Sheffman is here. Gina Rosati, Sandra Young-Rocco. Am I missing anyone? We do have 5, and you're right. We can actually move motions now. So if you need anything, now's the time to do it. But I want to thank them for their exceptional support throughout the campaign. Sandra Young-Rocco is here as well. There you go. I want to thank the donors. You know, myself, Rena, and others, and Fay, and Altaf, and Lucy, and Krista, and there's all sorts of people here. Probably missing somebody. I apologize ahead of time. This journey of raising $250 million, I remember when we had like maybe $5-10 million raised, and you know, I said, guys, we only have 240. I mean, at 240 to go, but it's been a really interesting process, right? And it's when you get to a point where you can finally announce that 250 million have been reached, that you realize that if you continuously focus on a goal, you can actually achieve it. And there are so many lessons here. This hospital, it could be a case study for how to build community capacity. It really can, Faye. It really can. And I think that it's amazing how the community was able to accept the challenge, but not just accept the challenge, actually reach the goals. And so and I would say sometimes it's a blessing, you know, that we didn't have a hospital for so many years, Krista. You know why? Because we ended up with, you know, Canada's first smart hospital, which tells you that sometimes patience is a virtue, that we can in fact get something better as a result, you know, of the law of unintended consequences. We couldn't get a hospital, now we have one, and we have the best. And that to me is fundamental. I want to also express gratitude to the construction workers who actually built this place, you know. Sometimes we see something beautiful and we think it just appears out of thin air. It doesn't. There are people through a labor of love that actually put their heart and soul into this structure. And this structure will have a lot, you know, I often say, you know, like I wish the walls could speak because they're recording human history here in our city. And what occurs here is incredible. You see the joys, the sorrows, you experience a vast array of emotions that occur in a place like this. And so to me, this hospital means a lot. It is really a crowning achievement of a community that truly cares about what is important. And I also, since I have David here, I also want to, as mayor of the city of Vaughan, I want to express to you and your community really my warmest and sincerest gratitude. You know, because for a long, long time, Richmond Hill was serving the community here at the city of Vaughan. And we should never forget that. We will never forget that. And I know you're going to do some exciting things on your site, and we'll be there to back you up in the same way that you provided us services throughout decades for the city of Vaughan. because partnerships should last forever. And I think that the City of Richmond Hill has demonstrated a great sense of community building. And we want to thank you on behalf of all the citizens of Vaughan for being there for us. We will never forget. And on that note, I want to thank everybody. Fay, you're up next, I think. Come right up. And thank you for all the work that you're doing, and I know that you're enjoying this part of this chapter in your life as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bevilacqua, for that kind introduction. On behalf of Mackenzie Health Board of Directors, I'd like to say a special thank you to our government and community partners who are here today. Without your support, we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we did. We're a two-hospital system because of you. To our Mackenzie Health family, the staff, physicians, and volunteers, we value you so much and are so incredibly grateful for all you do for this community, day in and day out. To our community and to our donors, your financial contributions and support have made a world of difference. Last week, we were so proud to announce the achievement of our $250 million Ultimate campaign milestone, along with our campaign chair, Mayor Bevilacqua, at his gala. This achievement was made possible thanks to the generosity of more than 15,000 donors and the dedication of hardworking fundraising volunteers, some of whom are here today. The Ultimate campaign helped to build and equip the spectacular new hospital, and the momentum continues. What an accomplishment. We know that together with our community, we will continue raising the necessary funds to attract the best talent, advance our programs and services, and secure the latest equipment and technology to support the best possible outcomes for every patient at both our hospitals. And to our Mackenzie Health Board of Directors, past and present, I am proud to represent a group of people so dedicated to making their community a better place. You have shepherded the hospital through governance and strategic oversight from the very beginning, ensuring a strong foundation was in place to respond to an evolving system and a dynamic organization. You have guided the organization through government approvals and funding processes and continue to provide guidance now as Coeur d'Alene Vaughan Hospital and Mackenzie Richmond Hill Hospital, along with their community-based locations, work in tandem to care for our community. As a board, we made sure the community perspective was always at the forefront of decisions we made. Building our second hospital and the first hospital in the city of Vaughan was necessary to support a rapidly growing community. As Altaf mentioned, increasing access to care for residents in King, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and beyond couldn't have come at a better time. When we opened our second hospital last year, we were already operating one of the busiest emergency departments in the province at Mackenzie Richmond Hill Hospital. The pandemic only exacerbated the pressures our healthcare system was facing. Now we have two hospitals serving Western York region. The reality is they're both operating at or over capacity most days, showing how necessary our two hospitals are to support the needs of our community. Thousands of patients have received seamless care across both of our hospitals sites this past year. No matter which of our two hospitals you go to, you'll receive the safe, quality care you need and deserve. I'm so pleased that we could take this moment today to celebrate and acknowledge this moment in our history. Thank you again for joining us here today.
So before we wrap up, I just want to reflect on Mayor Bevilacqua's comments around if Wallace could speak. When we programmed the Giovanni de Gaspers and Eugene Cohn Learning Center, nowhere in that programming or the work of the architects, the engineers, the contractors did the mandate of becoming a vaccination come into play. But when I reflect on probably the very first message in these walls, it was that PSW in December of 2020 being the first patient, individual in York Region to be vaccinated. And that was a pretty memorable moment as we reflect upon the pandemic and what we've achieved. So that brings us to the end of our event. Thank you all for joining us to mark this very, very special milestone in Mackenzie Health's history, in the history of healthcare in Western York Region, in the history of healthcare in the city of Vaughan. I thank everyone for joining us for this celebration. Have a great day. We'll ask our guest speakers to join us for some photos, and we're also going to blow out the candle on our birthday cake. And there's some cupcakes for many of our attendees if you're interested in a few calories as well. So again, thank you. A great, great day for our organization, but more importantly, a great day for this community. Thank you.